Hello, and we are live. Welcome to the live stream. I'm your host, Mark Thompson, in the building, and we're about to get cooking today because we have something really exciting to bring to the table. All right, friends, we're going to be building some more agentic applications, and this time we're going to be using a different technology. And I'm going to go through what does it mean to be an agent. I'm going to walk you through the different things we're going to build. And overall, we're just going to have a good time. And I'm really pumped up about this. If you are excited, go ahead and put it in the chat. Also, let me know if you can hear me clearly because I'm using a different microphone. Let's see if my microphone is right because I'm using a different microphone. I don't know if it's the audio that I want it to be. Let me check my audio because I don't trust people. Look at that. It's not the microphone that I want. It sounds good, but see, I want this microphone. Now, that probably sounds better, right? Like, you can hear me good. Jerry says I can hear you good, loud and clear. Hello, Tayamba in the building. All right, let's go. Hearing you loud and clear. Okay, I switched microphones. I'm waiting for our Devin to join us. He'll be in here shortly. Fellow Devreller from Angular team will be in here shortly. Wait for him. But I will tell you something that I did learn. Okay, so first, when it comes to production stuff, I geek out about this, and I normally really don't prefer to have a microphone in view of the camera, right? I actually don't prefer that. I don't like that look. But the reason I decided to do this is because I do like the sound that you get from these microphones. So these types of microphones, for example, are meant to be like this close to you, so that way you can get the right audio. They're not really meant to be like decoration off on the side, just a little like audio, like visual studio, like audio visual, but not visual studio. Studio stuff. All right, friends, we got a lot of people in the building. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? See, I have to zoom in because I can't read a single thing off the screen. Oh, so much better. Hello from Romania. What's going on? Hello. So good to see you. All right. Sounds great. You sound great, Thal. Thank you. Sam, the man in the building. Hear me loud and clear. Good. Eugene, what's up, Eugene? Legendary community member. Excited here from South Africa. Yo, what time is it in South Africa? Because you are hanging out with us and we appreciate you. What's up, Colin in the building? All right. Let's see. We got Michael Small in the building per usual. Glad to have you. Justin, let's see. Andres, what's up from Colombia? All right, good to have you. What's up, everybody? Buy one, get one bonus Thursdays. I actually love hot wings, but as a parent, you have to do a lot of stuff. And one of the things you have to do is negotiate with your children. And I negotiate with my child to get pizza for dinner in exchange for for something else. I forget what we asked him to do. Um, but I don't know what happened. Let's see. Devin says he's here, but I don't see him. So what's going on? Yeah, I think Devin's in the wrong. He said he's waiting for us backstage, but I don't know what studio he's in. Maybe he went to the wrong one. Or maybe come back. Okay. 8 p.m. So not that bad. Assam, what's up? 8 p.m. Not that bad. All right. Okay, now we got Devin in the building. Okay, let me add Devin. Let's bring him on the stage. Devin comes to the stage. Okay, there you are.
Hey everybody, I can't hear a thing, so if you can hear me, just give me a sec, Mark.
I can hear you. You sound good. All right, so Devin's getting his audio set up here. All right. Ionic.city, what's going on? All right, friends. So, nope, I can't hear you anymore, Devin, if you're talking.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. So you heard me, so that means you're in the building.
All right. Yeah, I was waiting in the wrong live stream, which doesn't do anyone any good. But here I am, and I'm excited to build some agentic apps led by the one and only Mark this time.
Gonna be super exciting. I'm very thrilled about this. What's up from Thailand? All right, I know people are here. You really want to learn and get started, so let me really just not delay. As I tell my son all the time, stop with the dilly dallying. I always tell him that, like, stop dilly dallying and get to it, buddy, because we got things we got to get done. And he's just like, "Oh, Dad." I'm like, "Hey, put your shoes on," and then before I know it, he's like doing something else. I'm like, "Stop dilly dallying." All right, I'm not going to dilly dally. Let me get my Visual Studio Code window up and ready to rock and roll. We're going to be using some cool stuff. I'm trying to think about if I should delete some code before I show it to you and then build it in real time with you. Or can we? Okay, I know what we're going to do. I'm actually just going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to delete some core functionality. No, I'm not. I'm just going to reveal it because we're going to do something more fun. I got a more fun thing to do. So here's how today's stream will work, friends. We'll build the application. It's already built. You'll get to see it working, but I'm going to be adding things to it, and then we're going to add things together because once you see it, I think it's going to bring a lot of ideas about what's possible. And I think for AI in general, what's possible is just lost because there's so many signals coming through about what we should do, what we shouldn't do, and I think creativity is being lost. But I think there's so much cool stuff that we can do. Devin, what do you think? Can we do cool things?
I can think of a few cool things we can do, but I'm kind of excited to see what you're going to cook up.
All right. Well, we're gonna do some cool stuff. All right. You know what? I'm just gonna go all the way through. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. So, how do you share a screen? And then once I share my screen, I need everybody in the chat to give me a thumbs up to let me know that you can see it and that the font size is big enough and working in your favor that you can see that. So put a thumbs up in the chat. I'm gonna be waiting for that. I know it takes a second for you folks to do that. Okay. And then I'm gonna close this for now. You need to see that. We'll just start from here. Okay, I see a thumbs up from Colin. The size looks to be pretty good. So we're gonna be working with Vertex AI and Firebase plus Angular. So let's just start getting our language and our ideas centered. Okay. So first, what is Vertex AI and Firebase? So Vertex AI and Firebase allows you to have a secure connection, right? It's a secure connection to Vertex AI, which is one of Google's AI solutions. This is where you can connect to different models of the models that we support. Okay, so Vertex AI lives off in our infrastructure, and then you need a way to connect to it. So we have a plugin through Firebase that allows you to connect. Here's what makes this whole thing interesting. Last week, Devin showed us a dynamite example, right? Working with the storyboards. Okay, he shows this amazing example, but he used GenKit, which meant he had to have what? A server. Okay. With Vertex AI and Firebase, you don't have to have a server. So if you're a person who built Angular apps with the client side only, this is your way to get a similar experience of being able to access a large language model or LLM like Gemini or some of the other models that we support.
So before we go any further, Mark,
Yeah.
some folks left some questions on the last stream that I think it's important we answer. And it was a very obvious question. I think the comment was, hey, if you're going to do a live stream on building agentic apps, what's an agentic app?
Love that. Love that. And that's on my agenda. So that's great. I'm starting up the app right now. Make sure it's still running. Very, very fun. Okay, so let's talk about what does it mean to be an agentic app, or what is agentic? So agentic is just a word that comes from the word agent. So we're saying an agentic app is an app that has an agent involved. But you may ask yourselves, what's an agent? Well, an agent is just an interaction with an AI tool like LLM, where you have tools that it has access to, so that way it could do something besides just send you regular text, right? Because think about your app's environment. You may have data, you may have functions, you may have different things, and you want to provide a path for your AI tooling to be able to connect to those things. Like, let's say you want to get access to like a database, or you want to get access to an API. The LLMs can't do anything without some type of access, so we have to provide it access. All right, and then you have to give it a goal. What is the goal that this thing should do, so that way it can act? Okay, so you put those things together, you end up with an agent, a goal, and some tools and a model. Put those together, put them in a blender. Say, all right, what do I got? I got an agent. And we'll see a lot more about this, because you may start to question, like, well, what is an agent compared to just interacting with an LLM? So if you interact with the LLM, that's one thing where you're asking it questions. But a different thing is when it can start to act, to perform tasks in service of a goal.
Well said. And thank you for doing that. I felt so bad that I didn't cover that in the last one because I totally meant to. But you start coding and the time gets away from you.
It does. No, everything gets away from you when you're doing a live stream. All right. I always get this complaint. People say, Mark, whenever you're coding, it takes too long to get started. I'm starting now. All right, friends. I'm starting now. All right, let's look at our application. I'm going to see if I can get this right. Okay, you can see that. That's not hidden. Okay, so let's go to 4200. This is our application. It's an e-commerce app called NG Store. We got some beautiful imagery, imagery, and it's just some items in here. And guess what we can do? These are real functions. This is a real app. This is just an Angular app, right? So if I click add to cart, you see what happened over here in this corner? Something was added to the cart. All right. And now here's what makes this different than a different store. NG Store sign. I like that. All right, the streets are enjoying the commentary here with the store. Here, let me hide this little thing here so it's not distracting us. Okay, so I can add some apples, carts. You can see that the cart number is going up. I added a whole bunch of stuff, right? I can add bananas. I can add bread. So I know one thing that most people have, especially developers. Developers get really worked up about this, rightfully so. You feel like a chat interface, people just force them into applications because they're not really helpful, because you try to interact with the chat interface and it doesn't do anything, and then all you really want is to talk to a human. At that point you're like, no, give me a human. I know, I've been there before. I want to posture that we can make our chat interface be really helpful to us in this application, and that's what we're going to be doing today. And you're going to help me extend the functionality. Okay, you're going to help me extend the functionality. So let's do an application walkthrough. Let's just show you how this application is set up. And Devin, if I'm going too fast or saying anything quickly, please interject at any point. All right, let's look at our app.component.ts. If you're new to Angular, this is going to be like your main component name. It's app.component.ts. This is by convention. This is where we bootstrap our applications. This is not the only name we can have, but this is what we can do by convention. Okay, friends. All right, so let's just start here. Okay, let's start with the template. So I have a template where you can see I'm interpolating some values like line 23 and 24. I'm showing the cart's length, and then I'm also showing the cart total, and I use a currency pipe. Okay, using the currency pipe. And then I have a section here, and I tried to name them appropriately. It doesn't really matter what's in there, but you can see I have a product listing. Okay, so we got a product listing there. And then we have our chat window where we have the list of messages that we will have in our application. So we do some stuff where if it's a user message versus a chat message, we kind of highlight it. We format it a little differently to make things a little bit better for ourselves. Okay. And then we have a submit button, and we take the value of whatever's in the submit message. All right. Let's talk about like the application code. So don't worry about this function, this scroll effect. Don't worry about that right now. That's actually the least interesting thing about this. Okay, but we do have a few signals that we're using in our application. We got a message history signal, and then we have our product list signal. So message history is just to reactively display the latest group of messages, whether they come from myself or from the AI agent. And then we have our product list, which we get from our product service. That is our list of products. Let's check out add to cart. Now, there's a reason I'm showing you in detail. I want to see the scroll effect. Okay, I will show you. Hold on. Okay, wait. I want to see the scroll effect. I'll show it to you. It's broken, so you're gonna have to help me fix it. All right. It looks like a Dutch oven bread. Hey, that bread did look delicious. I generated that bread using some of Google's imaging tools, so it looks good. Great sound effects, Mark Blender.wave. Stop it. Okay, don't entertain my chaos because you make me act worse. All right, I'll show you all the scroll effect in a second. All right, and then the reason I'm showing you all of these like functions so that way you can see that there's no magic happening behind the scenes. This is all very standard application code. So if you want to add a cart, we add that product to the cart. With submitting a message, we do the standard thing, right? If there's no value, we return. If there is a value, we want to clear it out, clear out the input content. And then we want to just use our signal update method where we get the history. We display, not display, we spread the history, and then we add our new thing here. Okay. And then finally, here's where it gets really interesting, line 106. Let me zoom into line 106 because this is where it gets really interesting. Look at this. We want to ask a question to the AI. Okay, want to add the question to the AI. Why are you setting product list in the constructor and not an ng init? Okay, good questions. Devin, If you want to start questions, we can come back to them later. We could do however we want, right? We have all the options here. But why am I doing this and not an ng init? Good question. So traditionally, a constructor should be super fast and super light, right? Because if you want to do a bunch of these things, this get products is not going out into the internet, so it's super fast, super light. Good question. Because I know the streets really care about this, I'm going to show you, but we're not going to spend an hour trying to focus on this. All right. You got to give me that agreement. If I show you, we can't spend an hour on this. What I'm doing here is every time there's a message added to the chat window, I want the chat window to scroll, right? But what does that sound like in terms of, if you think about the behavior? How am I describing the behavior? I'm not describing it imperatively. I'm describing it reactively, because I don't want to think about when the messages like change. I don't care about that, right? From the developer, that's what signals are going to give me a reactive way to do this. So I'm saying if there's a message history, give me that container. And then if the container exists, I want to scroll to the container plus some height. You'll see why I did that height. It doesn't work. And I think together, team, we can fix this together, because I don't really know. I couldn't get it to work right, completely right. You'll see what I mean. But I did it as an effect. Why did I do it as an effect? Well, because if you think about effects in general, we're saying do something. Do something in response to a reactive change in our signal graph. But ideally, do it with do it in the reactivity context. Right, that's the word I'm looking for, reactivity context. So I use an effect, and because I'm messing with the DOM, this is a good way to do the a DOM update based on reactive data, right? Is to do it in an effect. But I'm not making any state changes here. Okay, now let's jump into our. So we're just doing a quick walkthrough of the things. There really aren't that many things here. I got a couple of let's see, we got the chat interface, right? So nothing special there. Oh, I forgot to tell you, friends, you might care about something. You might care about this. If you want to do the code, if you want to see the code, you got to go to here. All right. You can find the code of what I'm working on here. All right, in the starter kits and examples. And guess what? Today we're building Agentic Apps, and you can too. So you want to head to that URL and check the descriptions in the link of this video. Wait, check out the links in the description of this video. And then you get all the links of what we're doing here. Okay, let me continue the story. And yes, I can zoom out. Yes, I can zoom out. All right, let's go to the AI service. I intentionally hid some code from you because it's not important yet. So what's really important here is that we're using the Firebase Angular plugin at angularfire/app. We're using that. It just has some nice convenience things. All right. And then I'm pulling some stuff in Vertex AI. You'll see why that is soon too. But here's where things get really cool. All right. In the constructor of this service, because I'm expecting the service to be just created once, first thing I do is I use my file. Do you need to see this? Okay, no, you don't need to see that. Okay, because the Firebase app is already being injected. Somebody asked if I can zoom out one level. If I do that, okay, I can go out one level. 121 stars. Way to go to 200. Listen, friends, we are 121. If 80 people could do us the honor of putting the star real quick, that'd be so great. That'd be so great. Go ahead, give us a star. All right, so let's talk about how we're connecting. So here's the interesting part about how to connect from the front end. Okay, so we got Vertex AI, and then we use this function called get Vertex AI. So this comes from that package, from the Firebase package, and we pass it a reference to our application. When we bootstrap this application in the ng bootstrap section, we pass in the credentials that we need for our Firebase connection, and then we pass it to Vertex AI. So that links our project, right? We have our project definition. That's how we connect that to the Vertex AI from our code. Okay, that's how we do that connection. And then I'm giving it a system instruction. this is really interesting for you folks who are developing with AI. When it comes to system instructions, this is how you give your model high level context that it can remember every time, every single time, high level context. So I'm telling it, you're at NG Produce. You are a superstar agent for e-commerce store. Now, what did I say? Superstar agent. Devin, did you have any experience with this where you had to hype up the LLM like emotionally?
I don't know if maybe I should have though. Yeah, that would have been good. I mean, I got to think about the LLM's feelings, where it's at, how kind of day it's having. Sometimes you got to pick it up. Nah, I'm just making that up.
Yeah, no, that's just why I did. I was like, because I want to give it the context that it knows how to do everything. And I don't know if that's necessary or not, but I just want to do it that way. So I said, you're a superstar agent for e-commerce store. For this e-commerce store, you will assist users by answering questions about inventory and even, that's not spelled right, even being able to add items to the cart. So I'm already giving it a preview of what it can do, right? It can answer questions, it can add things to cart. So I'm giving it some ideas. Now,
And it even figured out your typo and was able to work around it, which is pretty impressive.
tools, LLMs are just like wild. So now I'm going to define my model, and then I use the get generative model function. Pass it the model that I want. I want to use 2.0 Flash. There are other models we can use. I want to use this one, right? But remember that system instruction? Here it is here, right? And I know somebody's in the code like, oh, those two keys, the key and the value are the same. It can be one. Yes, it can. So it can be like that. Okay. And then we got the tools. This is super important. Remember in the beginning when people ask what's an agent? Remember I said it has to have a set of tools and then a goal. I've already defined the goal where it's supposed to help you as a user, and here are some of the tools that it can use to help you. Huh? You see how we're getting there? And then we're using a chat interface, which means that you got the conversation versus the one-shot prompt where you send a prompt there and you get it back. The chat is like a conversational style. I'm so used to being in the classroom doing this type of stuff that I want to ask you all, what questions do you have before we move on? If you do have questions, please put them in the chat. And then, because I want to show you how this works now. All right. Because I think you have enough context of what's happening to know how this whole thing works. Okay. Very cool. So here's what I want to do. We got an empty cart. Let's go look at our cart again. Empty cart. All right. I'm going to say, hi there. Where are we? Is that too small? That might be a little small. I want to zoom in. So I'm going to do, hi there. Where are we? All right. I'm an agent for NG Produce and e-commerce stores. I can, you see, so now it knows what it can do. Now, if you saw, because I'm submitting my chat as like the conversation to the prompt, right? Or to the model. But you see that even when I just asked a question, it was using that context, right? It was using that context to be able to answer. So let's go. So now let's ask the first question here. I'm going to zoom in here just to focus on our conversation window, the way it can be visible to everybody. All right. How many items are available? All right, there are 10 items available. Looking pretty good. It's working. We can count them. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So it's actual working with the data. And then let's see, start the repo. Oh, thank you for starting the repo, everybody. Listen, I got something for you. You see this? That's all for you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for starting. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So then we can ask, we could do a lot of stuff. Let's see. Add oranges to the cart. To the cart. All right. I need to know the price of the oranges. I know how much. Okay. So, something ain't working the way we want it to because it should. Oh, here. Which items are available? All right. See how my scroll thing doesn't work all the way? It kind of clipped. So that's why I said we could fix it together. And then we'll do this. All right. So now I asked it about which items are available. Now I think I can do add oranges to the cart. See, it kind of works, just not all the way. So now that it has context, and I'll explain all of this. we add oranges to the cart, and here's how our thing becomes more interesting. So now, you see, in the cart we have 79 cents.
Mark, why did you have to ask what items are available before you could add it?
That's a really good question. And that's something I think we're going to improve. I'm going to talk about that part right now because that is all about the tools that are available. Excellent questions. That's why I had to ask. And I see that we have a question from my friend Salat. Says, what's the product tool set defined in the code? We're going to talk about all that right now. Both those questions are actually tightly integrated, tightly coupled. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. But that was great. Like, I'm going to show you something else, friends. I'm going to show you part of this demo that's going to blow your mind. But I have to first show you what's available to the AI. All right. So now we have that part working. Let's go back into our code. So how can it do anything? How can this thing do anything? So if we look at our line 75, between 75 and 89, these are the properties that we're passing to our connection to the model. So when we want to get our connection, so like our handler to the model, we got to pass these properties. One of the properties is line 78, which is the product, it's the number, the tools. That's the key right there. Here, let me zoom in just for focus for a second, because I only want you to care about this. You see, we have this tools on the left-hand side as a key, and then a value is an array of this a tool set. Okay, it's a tool set. But what is this tool set? Okay, because these tools are what give the model, in a way, the ability to do more than just answer questions for us. Or you see what I'm saying? Like, this extends its ability within the context of our application. So this is where I was telling you, friends, at the beginning about AI development being more than just a regular chatbot, right? There's so much more you can do once you get beyond just saying, what's today's date, or tell me a time, or tell me a story, or write this for me. That's only one small, like, a part of the full story. The full story is that you can create to do all kind of things. Okay, sorry, I'm really bullish on what we get to do as developers by powering up our apps with AI. Okay, so let's talk about it. The reason why it could answer the question about how many items there were before it could add anything to cart is because I declared a function under the function declaration tools. I declared a function on line 32. And it said, what's the name of the function? Get number of products. What can you do with this function? It can get the total number of products available in the inventory. So that's why it was quick to reply 10. But this function does not give it what? It doesn't give it any information about the items in the inventory. Let's look at our second function that I think you all care about. Now, Devin asked a great question. Why did I have to say what things are available before it could do more of the add to cart thing? Well, that's because the get products function gets an array of products with the name and price of each product. So it knew that it needed more context to add to cart, but it didn't have it yet. And so now it does have more context when you ask it to get products. So the way that I did as a workaround just for our demo, because again, we're gonna improve this together. I just wanted to show you how this kind of works. Like, the more, it's like you define the functions and then you get to decide what, how it works. And now that okay, I'm gonna slow down because I get really excited. I talk really fast. Let me slow down. So now when we're talking about tools, it has 3 tools, but I only showed you 2. It has a get number of products, and then it has get products. So then when you're asking it to do things, it's going to look at this tool set on line 78. You see, it's going to look there first. Okay.
And for the folks at home, what is a tool?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying it like theoretically. Like, folks at home, what is a tool? What
is a tool? How do we use no?
Yeah.
What
Good
is a tool?
question. A tool is any function that you want to provide access to your LLM or your model, that you want to provide it access to so that it can perform tasks, right? So the tool can be anything. It could be that, and that's what I was showing you all in the beginning. So if we look back, let's see, let me get my mouse cursor back here. I was showing you that, like, some of these functions are very basic because I didn't want you all to think that the tools had to be fancy. You see, so the get number of products just returns the list. And get cart. You see what I'm saying? Like all these things are just like very simple functions, but these become tools. So think about it like this. Let's say you work in construction and someone's like, build a house. And if you don't have any tools, you'd be like, okay, sure, with my imagination. It's just my imagination. Okay. But if someone says build a house and then they give you a hammer, then you know that you can perform the function of what? What task can you do now? You can nail things together. If they give you a drill, you can start to affix things together. If they give you a saw, you can cut wood. You see, but you as a person building a house can only do what you have access to based on the tools. So think about the same way for your AI agents. They can only do what they have access to based on the tools. Yeah, good questions. Okay. Okay, good question. Does the agent call a function every time before answering any questions, or just once automatically on the first message in chat? It's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. We can find out though. We could do some console.logging and see how many times this function is called. All right. To call multiple tools. Okay. Let's see. We had a question from Justin as well. Oh wait, no, we had a different question. Let me make sure. Let's take a break to answer some questions. Let me just do this. Let's see here. How to use report progress with HTTP header client post request? I'm loading video file server. Oh, that's a different question. We can try to save that to the end. Right now, we're kind of focused on different things. But friends, we got a bunch of experts in the chat. Does anybody have any blog posts or links or ideas that you can show to Givens that can help answer this question? Excellent. Okay, let's see. It looks like the current setup won't allow it to call multiple tools at once because it immediately reprompts after the first tool call. Let's prove this to be true or false, Justin, today together. Let's figure this out.
Yeah, and one of the cool things about tools is that you can kind of define this agent that can do lots of things, and it's not really a deterministic workflow. It can figure out which tool to use, right? You say build a house, it knows, oh, build a house. Let me grab a hammer. Let me grab a screwdriver, whatever it may be. And I think that's if anyone tuned in to last week's live stream, I think that's one of the big differences. I didn't use any tools because my flow was very deterministic. By introducing tools, you give the LLM the option to kind of figure out what should I do next, which is one of the cool features here.
Love that context. That's excellent. Excellent, Devin. I like that energy. We had 130 stars. Thank you, friends. We're 70 away from getting to our magical 200 number. You all are amazing. I don't even know how come the community is so great, but you all are just super great. All right, let's continue our story. So how do the tools get actually executed? And this will give us a lot more context. So when we send a chat message, this is from the ask function, right? In our AI service, I pass in a string and then I just ask. I send a prompt message and I wait the response, okay? Here's what's interesting. The response may or may not return, requiring a function call. Okay, so this for me was really important to understand how this works. If you notice, it tells me what function calls it wants to call. Which tools do I want to use? But guess who's in charge of executing? You as the developer. So this isn't something where you give it access to tools and then it can just do whatever it wants. It still gives you the chance to do something. So you can have enhanced logic to say something like, oh, I'm going to skip this function call for this reason, right? Let's say that there is, because, okay, so we got a good question. Is it going to call like for the inventory every single time? What if that's a very expensive call and we know that the data does not change? Right? We could do some coding here that could prevent additional calls and get the cached version of the data. You see, so we have a lot of control here of how interactions with function calls work. Okay, how interactions with function calls work. Excellent stuff. All right, so we get the name of the function call. So for each function call, we get the name, and then we can say, well, here's what the result is on line 92. You see, I do that. And then I can say send a message, and then I pass in the function call response. I say the name that we called, and then I say what the response is. But if you see, I'm the one calling the function in my code. I'm the one responsible for that. Okay. Same thing for get products. It's the same pattern. We can say what the result is. Then we can say, okay, we got the result. Let's send a message. I'm gonna send you a message. Okay, send a message. Here's a function called response, and then do all these things. But check this out, Justin. I think that this list of function calls can be multiple because it comes back as an array, right? So your question was, well, what's going to happen? Well, this is an array, so it probably can call multiple functions, and then I can return it. But I think with my setup, I understand what you're saying, that like I don't know what happens next if I have to call multiple functions in succession. It's a good question. Okay, let's go back to the application, and then let's see what else we can do. Now I showed you all that it could add something to the cart, right? But what if I asked it some more? But you saw what's available to it. Oh, let me show you one more thing about the data. Let me show you one more thing about the data. So if we go into our product service, the data only has what? The name, price, and the product image. Just those three things: name, price, product image. Check this out. Now things are going to get really interesting. Can you tell? Oh, let me zoom in so you all can see what I'm doing. And make sure you know I'm not. This is the same conversation we're in. Can you tell me about which vegetarian options are available? See, this scroll is so close to working. It's just missing like something. I don't know. Look at that response. I did not program this. Now you see how like interesting this can be? Look how interesting this is. I did not program anything about like like food type. I didn't program anything about like what's vegan or vegetarian or whatever. I didn't program anything like that. But these are the vegetarian options. But I want to do something more. Colin, I don't know what the set timeout would give us. That's the only reason I'm hesitating of adding a set timeout. Colin says, try wrapping the scroll to in a set timeout. I just don't know what that would give us because the effect runs. I mean, like the set timeout is for it to be able to like do something outside the zone, for example, right? Like typically, it's a way to get around the zone, like messing us up. I'm not really bound by the limitations of zone with the effect. So that's why I'm really interested in figuring out what do you think that'll help us with, and then the way to help me, because maybe you know something I don't know, and I'd love to know more. Yeah, event loop. Oh, okay, but it is already scrolling though. It's just not scrolling all the way to the bottom. You know what I mean? Like that's the problem. But I'll try it. I will try it because if that fixes it, we'll do something else. Okay, how about this? Can you limit it to vegan options? Okay, so now we're down to vegan options. Again, I didn't do any of that stuff. But here, okay, great. Can you please add the vegan options to the cart?
I will say with the current scroll setup, I'm like waiting in anticipation to see what it responds. So maybe it's a feature, not a bug.
Oh man, that's so good. All right, so there you go. So then let's look at our cart though. We got all these items in the cart. That's pretty fun. Like, I don't know. I like this a lot. Like I feel like it's pretty fantastical in a way that I'm working with two sides of the coin in this example. One side is I've programmed some features in here, and then the other side is I am leveraging the power of the LLM. You see? And so you put those together, it's a supercharged application. Like this is kind of awesome that I didn't have to do any of this filtering. Now, let's add some code because I promise you that we can improve it. So two things we can improve. If we can get the product inventory to load on the first time so we don't have to do any additional prompts. That's one task I want us to do. Second thing is, what are some other functions we can have? I think we can have it like, wouldn't it be nice if instead of just showing us in the chat here that like the list itself was filtered like visually? I feel like that'd be really cool. What do you folks think?
I like that.
I like it too. All right.
Yeah.
But I think the streets really want me to figure out this the scroll thing. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Okay, so Justin / Colin, because both of you put some stuff in there for me to do. Do you want me to do this in my effect, or you want me to do it separately from my effect? I feel like you want me to do it in my effect. Oh, but you want me to get ID by I get, but I already have it, right? Because I have the view child. So do I need to do it that way?
Colin says, "Oh, yeah, in the effect."
Okay. So as is, I'm just gonna do set timeout. I got to do it as an arrow function so I can have access to my scope. And we're gonna do 0. Oh, 0. Man, when you're live coding and then there's like the IntelliSense, it's like overwhelming. It's just it just blocks everything. All
The
right.
struggle is real.
So are you saying that I don't need to add my little like fake 600 here? Okay, I'm gonna take that out. You
Yeah, I
said
was curious what the 600 was actually doing.
I don't think it was doing anything. I
Yeah.
think I just didn't take it out.
All right.
But why does this set timeout do anything? That's the only thing I don't understand. Why would it fix it? I don't know. Okay, so let's see. Hi. All right, so that definitely broke it. Yeah, that definitely broke it. Did I do something wrong here? I put the same code that I already had. I don't know. That actually broke it. Okay, so in the effort of keeping our scope a little bit more concentrated, I'll do this. I'll come back to this if we have time in the end to improve that, but I would much rather us do some like coding around the agent side, but I'll come back to this and we can totally improve this. Oh, I have scroll to and not top. So you're saying take this off. Interesting. And then do scroll. And then top. Okay. We're going to come back to this. I am going to try this. But I want to do a little bit more coding around this thing. So also put other questions in the chat about things you have in mind that you want to see us do. All right. So I would love for it to, I want this to work. Okay, let's fix the produce problem. Okay. How many or what items? So if I ask what items are available first, it doesn't matter. See, it's going to get the right answer. You see? So what's a different way to do this to prove that it works? So let me refresh. I need a prompt that will give me the outcome that I want, meaning like it has to know about the products. Okay, how many products are less than $1? Nope, it already knows. What's the difference? You can ask it.
So why did if it knows that, but it didn't know the price of the orange before? That was interesting.
Because I asked a different question.
Because you asked to add it to the cart.
Right. Okay, there you go. Can you add all items less than $1 to the cart? All right, there we go. That's the one. It does not like that. That's good. It does not like that one. Let's see if we got an error or something. Okay, don't ignore. I know I have. Excuse you. Oh, it's just because it's large. Don't worry about my large contentful paint, buddy. All right. Sorry, didn't get your response.
I love
No,
how
you
you always
didn't.
apologize to the LLM.
It
Sorry.
right. It did not do this. You see, it did not do this because I think that the second question. So I think this is our question right here. This is the one to get working on stream today. Okay. Well, one of the things we got time. We're gonna keep going. So now let me refresh, and that's the question that I feel like it can't do anything with. Okay. Perfect. We have our broken case. So this is what we want to fix. So how are we going to fix it? Let's look at our AI service and let's see if we can refine the description. So I don't think we need get number of products, which I think Salat might have said earlier on. Somebody said that I believe we can combine into one get product inventory. Yeah. Yes, I agree to this. So here's the feedback. I believe can be combined into one. I agree. So let's update it because I don't think we need to. I want to see if it's. Mm, hmm. This is going to be interesting because I don't know the answer to this. Let's try this. So here's what I'm thinking, friends at home. And Devin, here's what I'm thinking. Will it know to count the items that's returned to it to be able to get the number of items available? Will it know? So let's prove it. Because I bet you if I take out this get number of items, that'll solve our problem, I think. So we'll take that one out. And then we'll also remove it from get number of products. We'll also do this out. And then, so I can delete it. We can always revert, right? This is literally what source control is for. So I'm going to take it out for no. I need to prompt it more here to say you can also get the number of items through this, by counting, or will it just know what to do? Israel, you don't know how much time I spent on this. Can I just tell you all that for this scroll height thing, I spent probably like 2.5 hours trying all of these things to make it work. Believe it or not, I didn't just come here without it prepared. That's the best that I can get it before I felt like it was diminishing returns. I've tried this. I will try it again, but it's good. Let's see. All right, Javon, what's going on? Good to see you. Everybody in the building, thanks for hanging out. It's so good to have so many of you hanging out with us. Let's see. We need to add quantity property in the JSON products list, then add instructions within our function. That's the next level because we don't have a stock quantity yet, right? So that's totally great. That'll be a really nice feature. So to see if we can define our store such that it'll refuse to add something that's out of stock, right? Like that'd be nice. Okay, let's get to it. I've been describing too much stuff. Let's get to coding. Let's get to it. All right. So now this should work by itself. This is my my hypothesis is that this should work. So what is our add all the car? So can you add this to the car? Okay, still can't do it. Did you give me any message? You didn't say anything, did you? Okay, so let me fix the friends, I wonder where that blank response is coming from because I don't have a default. Maybe it's trying to call a function that we don't have. Let's debug it. Let's figure out why it's returning blank and not saying I can't do it. So let's see what's happening. So let's go into our sources here, and then I'm gonna do. Let's see, is it? I don't want to
Are
do
you
it.
able to make that a little bigger, Mark?
I will. You sure? Sure thing. Sure thing. I can totally do it. First, we'll get this out of here, and then I just want to see. Okay, source app. Great. All right, so we're gonna go to our AI service because what I want to see, I almost hit Command B, which I don't think does anything. Nope, because this is not VS Studio Code. So what I care about, so now I'm in my browser, friends, and I want to look, and I want to see what happens with the function calls here. Okay, that's what I'm interested in because it really does not like this question, and I want to know why. Okay, so sorry if it's a little tiny, but here I'm going to paste in my question, and let's see if it even stops. Okay, let's see what's in the function calls list. It calls get products. Do we have a get products? Yes. So let's see function call name. Okay, so let's step over. All right. So the function call that it cares about. I'm so sorry if that's super tiny here. Can I zoom in? Nope, does not let me do my zoom here. No zooms. I can do like that, but that's a little like egregious. I got to go back here. Sorry, friends. Hopefully that's somewhat visible. Okay, so it wants to do this, which is fine. So let's step over. All right, so when it gets products, what's the problem? You got the result. Here's our result. That looks right. We're going to send message. Okay, so, okay, now we got to, because this is asynchronous, I want to stop right here. And I want to inspect the result that we get back. Oh, I probably could have stopped at the break. Okay, that's fine. Let's see what the result is. Okay, so we got a whole bunch of stuff in here. Got a response ID, got some text, but our text is blank. Okay, we got function. Oh, does it want another function call? No, it doesn't want another function call. What is this candidate? What is that? Okay, finish reason stop. Okay, content model. Let's look. No function calls. Oh, interesting. It tried to do it. Okay, friends at home. Oh my goodness. Do you see how good this is? Do you see how good this is? The model wants to do another thing. I was so like pumped up about this. This is so cool. It was to call two functions, which is what Justin in the beginning, Justin White called out. He was like, well, what do you do essentially when you have multiple function calls? So it wants to do two things. It was the first thing that it did. It called our get products. Right? It called our get products. Then once it got the products, it wanted to add something to the cart. And guess which ones it wanted to add? Look at those prices. Let's go. This is so exciting. Okay. Devin, I feel like.
I'm excited too. I mean,
all right, let's read.
I think my curiosity of what's going on and why we're getting an empty response is outweighing my excitement right now.
Oh, I can tell you why we're getting an empty response.
Oh, why is
Because
that?
it's not done. It's not done. It wants to do another thing, and we're not giving it the ability to do the second thing.
Oh.
Right. Right. We're only giving it the ability. So in all my testing, I've only done things in one step, right? Like asked a question about the data, then added it to cart. But it wants to answer the question about the data for itself, so that way it can know know what to add to cart. It wants to do two function calls. But the second function call does not exist. Okay, here's the problem. Here's our outer loop. Right? That's our outer loop. And we go through the initial function calls that come back from this original thing. What I have not programmed for is what happens if this wants to do a function. Because that's literally what the problem is. It wants to call a function. So somewhere in here, we have to figure out, how do we handle multiple function calls?
And is it not calling the function because it looks like it gathered the right things? It's just not. So it gathered everything, but it's not adding it to the cart. That's the piece we're missing. Is that
No,
right?
no, that's not completely accurate.
Okay.
The problem is that the first function call is being executed accurately. Then I send another message right here. This response from the model is another function call. But because we're breaking out of the switch statement, it never gets a chance to do the second function call. You see, so what this loop has to become it's kind of like I won't say it's not indefinite. We have to have like a stack limit of like, okay, after 10 function calls, stop no matter what. You know what I mean? You gotta have like some type of stack limit. But the thing is, it needs to kind of be recursive that from here I can call another function.
Yeah, that I think the recursion is the answer here.
Right. I got to be able to say, now with this new information, call another function. Right. Or return out. So it's like a recursive function here. Um, yield. I don't know how to use yield. Andrew, that sounds awesome. If I knew how to use it, tell me how to use it. Let's see. What is yield? All right. Wait. So here's my real question, friends. How much do you want to debug this together in real time, or how much do you want to just spend or like let Gemini help us? Because I know what I think, but we could also shortcut this and just be like, hey, Gemini, how do you write a function that calls itself? So if I were to make this into a recursive function, first thing we got to do is can we call this like call functions? And it takes a function call, whatever this is, a function call array. So that's the first step, right? It does this. Why don't you like this? Oh, because okay, why don't you like this? No. Did I spell that wrong? That's not what I mean. I mean specifically this. It's right there. Oh, did I not import the symbol? Yes, we got to import it. Yeah, okay, fine. Import it then. Don't be mad at me. Where you get it from? Probably here. Probably function call. Yeah. All right. I mean, you know what you need. I don't know why you're mad at me. It's really outlandish. So let's refactor this real quick. Hi, Mark. We request calling the result of the methods is available. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Yes. So let's answer some questions. Let's see. First, this. Maybe yield. If you tell me how to use yield, I'm totally open to it. Let's see. We figure out a way to call the function again, right? Yes, that's exactly what we're doing, Vivek. That's right, Mark. We need recursive call in the result of methods is available. Yes, we do need to do that. And then, oh, this is fancy. All right, Andrew, before I go that far, because that is really fancy, let me refactor this so that way, because the first step is to, because this is literally the code that I want to call again, right? Is everything from 89 or 88 to, let's see, what's my end here, to 124. I want to call this again as a part of the recursion. You agree to that, Devin?
I think so. What I'm wondering is why we can't just call ask again recursively inside, and then if there are no more functions to call, just return the response from the LLM.
Because we can do that, but I want it to do exactly this again, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. So because the recursive call is technically everything that it did. So meaning this, when I write it, it'll make sense in a second. All right. Let's see results. Okay. So okay, fine. Everybody relax. So this should become function calls. Okay. You're fine. Okay. This becomes async. Now you're fine. What is this? Const result. What I have my result defined as? Oh, what type is this? Generated content result. Okay. I don't know if I need to define it that way. Let me just do something real quick. Let me just say let result. Nobody yell at me real quick. I'm just trying to make it work, and then I will make it better. Okay. Just give me a second. Nobody yell, because I know y'all be like, "Yo, stop not doing the right thing." Okay. So first and foremost, I should be able to do this. Okay. Wait. I got to return result. I'm not returning result anywhere, so I got to do that. So let's do this, and this return result, which is any, which is going to be bad, but we're going to fix it because the result needs to be whatever this is, generated content result. Okay, so this needs to be, let's do some generated content result. You don't like this? Why don't you like this? All right, hold on. I got to zoom out. Just a second, friends. Hold on. Let me just get it to do what it's supposed to do. Why can't you figure out what that is? That doesn't feel right to me. Yeah. Why not? Why don't you like this?
Well,
Where
it
do you
should
get this from?
be if it's async, should it be a promise of a generated content result?
Oh, that's probably why. Yeah. There you go. Good. Yes. 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 It
Still
still
doesn't like
doesn't like my.
it.
No, that's fine. I just gotta figure out where to import this from.
Quick
Right.
fix?
See, it can't
No,
find it, but it got to
slow
come from
fix.
someplace, right? Like this got to be where? Where? Okay, where are you coming from? Vertex AI. Okay, so that's fine. Vertex AI. So generated content, generated. Am I spelling generated wrong?
Looks right to me. I don't know why it's not suggesting it for you. Oh, there we go. Oh,
No, that was candidate.
it was starting to
Oh, there it is. Finally. Okay, we're back in the game. We're back in the game, friends. Oh, am I saying generate? Was I doing generated and not generate? Is that why I couldn't find it?
Live coding's hard, man. It really
Yeah.
is.
Oh yeah. No. I'm not even worried about generate. You all are right. Thank you for having my back. Thank you. Let it infer. Alex, I am trying my hardest to let it infer. I don't want to type anything. I don't want to type anything. Uh, I don't know why you don't like this. Generate undefined is not. Oh, it's not undefined. It's not undefined.
Should
Is
we
that bad?
type result at the top?
No, it wants a value because this could be undefined, and so I'm just gonna cheat for a second. Nobody yell at me for now. Nobody yell. Okay, we're gonna make it work, make it right, make it fast.
No
All
one's
right.
yelling, just smiles.
Yeah, I know. I'll just I'm always like, wait, I know it's wrong, or it's not ideal. Like I know, everybody knows. Okay, so finally we should have feature parity because that's all I care about right now. Do I gotta do this? That yeah. Okay. Why don't you like this? This is not undefined. Okay, fine. This is actually right though. This is actually right. If function calls do this because this could be undefined. That's correct. So what I care about now is that this has like some parity. And then we have our result. Was I really reassigning result right here? That ain't so great. I don't love that. I don't love that for me. Yeah, I don't love that for me. I don't love that. I'm going to refactor this because I don't really like reassigning variables in my code if I can help it. So I don't love that one. We'll refactor. Okay, let's make sure it still works. Because if we created something wrong, let's see how many products. Okay. Okay, cool. So it still works. Right? But now if I go back, we have how many dairy what dairy products? What dairy products do you have? Okay, great. So it's actually better, right? Like it works in one way. And now it's actually like working the way we want it to. Let's see, anyone to make AI on my home, huh? It's golden time in my life looking for someone who can make AI of my home. Oh, I don't know what you need. I don't know how we can help you. I'm sorry, Jay. But I agree with you, Alex. Okay, now let's actually solve the problem. The reason I wanted to refactor just a personal thing because I felt like there was so much happening in this one function that it felt like where do I put anything? So I wanted to be able to just like extract that logic into a place that makes a lot of sense. We can technically get rid of this if here. If we wanted to, we can get rid of it because we know before it can even get called, it's going to be okay. So now we want to say if in any of these steps, like instead of doing the break right here, you know what I want to do? I want to call this function. I want to say this dot call functions. That that almost that right. but I don't think that's where it was. Let's see, response. Why don't you like this? Okay, parameter functional is not the parameter functional. Oh, okay. Okay, fine. You want me to kind of redo this part. So I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to switch this from a switch to an if, just like Salat suggested. That is a very good suggestion. So we'll say if we do this, right? Oh, wait. Is function calls not an array? I mean, a function like on response? Wait. Well, that would blow up if it was. Oh, because it's a function. Never mind. Okay. Okay, there we go. Because the results of a function, right, may not return, even though we know it's going to return something. Oh, Alex, see, you should be proud of me, Alex. You should be proud of me. Because each call can return a different result. That's right. Yeah. You know how I actually learned that part? I learned that from working with signals because I never understood why signals would be so like dramatic. Well, it's like, well, how come I can't like type signals, or narrow signal value calls? And it's because they can return a different result technically. All right, so let's fix this code up to make it an if statement. So I'm more like the Wild West, whereas Devin was so thoughtful and like he had all of his stuff already like set up for y'all and like ready. And I'm over here like, all right, let's do it together, like in the moment. Why not? What could go wrong? What could go wrong? And the answer is everything. Okay,
I'm
so
having fun. Seems like everyone watching's having fun.
yeah. Oh, I'm having a blast because what people don't realize is that we do code, Devin, like you and I, like as DevRel people, that we do code. And so then I always like to take any advantage I can of the opportunity to do so. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yes, I will code something. Yes, I will. All right. So this shift, I don't know what's going to happen because we don't have our base case for our recursion, but we'll solve that problem when we get there, right? First thing we got to figure out is how to, oh, wait. Okay. I'm going to refactor this again. But you'll see. I'm gonna do two ifs here. Just hear me out. Right? Yes, I want you to do that. All right. And then let's see. You got that. And then we're gonna put our other code in here. I'm gonna take this out, add to cart. We take that part out. Why don't you like this? It does. I don't know why you're saying it does not. Oh, that's because my code is broken down here. Let's get rid of this other junk code for a second that we don't need. Okay, where are you? Okay, you get out of here. Okay, then hold on. I'm going to fix it all up. Give me a second. I don't think I need any of this. And then, oh no, I've really broken this. I'm going to fix it from the top. Don't worry, friends. Friends at home, if you're worried about what's going to happen next, don't be. All right, so first we got a first function call. I think this all looks right. So I'm going to minimize that one. Let me fix this next one. Make sure I got all my like matching brackets here. All right, that all looks right. So I get rid of this. And then I'm still missing something. So I'm going to figure it out right now, which I think will be this one. The blue will go right here. Oh, I'm missing two. Let's format this document so we can get some control of ourselves. Format document. Let's do it. Prettier. I am pretty. All right, friends. So now we have one of our things working, but here's what I'm thinking about. Okay. Should this, where's my function call thing here? See, I feel like because this is an option for each one of these, we should move this function calls here out. We should move it out and then do like a recursive call at the end or the base case. Okay, that's our base case. Our base case for our recursion, okay, The base case for the recursion is no more function calls. Then you return the value back up your chain. Otherwise, you do another recursion call. You see? So let's take this and let's move this out because it's not specific to get products. The next function call doesn't matter if it's get products or the next thing. It doesn't matter. It's specific to the idea that we can call a function here. Okay, so now we got here. All right, so I really feel like I don't need this. I feel like it's just adding a level of indirection that's not necessary. What you think, Devin? Should I remove this?
Well, I'm wondering where would you put your base case? Because if that's false, is that the base case, or am I misunderstanding this?
Yes, that's right. Right. If you come in here and it's false, that's the best case. You should return.
So do we need an else on this, and
I
then
don't know what
that'll
we
be
need yet.
our base case?
We need something. Hold on. Let's figure this out. So the question is, what is our base case? So if function calls dot okay, so this would be the else, which would be I agree it's not needed, but
Alex thinks not needed.
yeah, I agree. So I'm gonna take it out for now, and then it's because I feel like it's like I said, just creating some extra parentheses and some extra logic that we don't necessarily need right now because now we're gonna do it. Let's format this document. What's that? Control Shift F? Is that what that is? Or Option Shift F? Ooh, save some time. All right. So let's re-examine our function and get like a grip because we were doing a lot of stuff. Okay. Let's get back a grip on everything we got going on. So remember, our goal is to enable our agent to have, I hate to say indefinite because I don't want to do like a Stack Overflow because it keeps calling functions and it can never stop. But that's the secondary problem. First problem is this. We want our agent, if it has more tools that it wants to use. Think about if you're building your house, right? And you're like, okay, I'm going to build a wall. The first tool you'll probably use is a tape measure because you want to measure your wood. The next tool you'll probably use is a saw, right? But if you have to stop at the tape measure, you can't effectively build a wall. So we want to give our agent the ability to build the next step. So let's do that. So here is the list of function calls. So if there are function calls, we want to go through all, but okay, I'm overthinking because I was going to say this function here, I don't love, but I mean, it's for loop I don't love, but we'll go through it. Oh, what do we do if the function calls here? I think people, I'd ask for SDK update. Oh, what do we do? How do we make sure that we get all the function calls? No, this is fine. This is fine because this will handle any initial function calls and it'll handle, it's fine. So if either one of these, what am I doing? I'm trying to like not overthink this, but I think I am. I'm confusing myself. This feels like a leak heat problem or a leak code problem. All right. So first and foremost, let me put this. So I get my results. Is there a function call after my result? Call the function. I get my results. Is there a function call after this? Call the function. I love it. You know, when you're live coding in front of people, you don't always feel like a senior. I'll tell you that. You just be like, why don't I just know this? All right. Let's see. So this is halfway what we want. But should this be a return? Yes, it should. This should be a return. Because how will I get the deeper function call value back up if I need it, right?
So I lost some context here. Where is the where are we passing in the list of function calls to begin with?
Down in the ask. So as soon as you prompt it, you get your list of function calls that it wants to do, if there are any. And if it wants to do some function calls, we got to go here to our call function function here. Otherwise, we just return the response.txt.
Got it. Okay. Yeah,
So,
that looks good.
so that part's right. But then when you get into call functions, let's walk through this. For the function, for each function call that is in your original list, because there can be multiple here, we call a function and we get the result. Again, we get the result. Based on that result, we decide if we should call functions again.
In your original version of this, I think you had. Wait.
I didn't just have this line. Like, this is new. This is the new edition.
Yeah. But you did have the await chat.send message
Yes.
already.
Yes.
Okay.
Because so friends at home, just so you can understand this part of the flow, because if I already am responding to a chat message, why would I do it again? This is kind of like an internal dialogue between our code and the agent versus our user and the agent. You see, our user interacts with the agent through the chat message. Here, we're interacting from our code like, hey, you want to call a function? Here's the result of the function that you called. Do your next step. But the external person does not see this part of the conversation. This is us talking in the back, like, hey, yo, they want, some switch twos on the shelf. And me and Devin are talking in the back, kind of, you know what I mean? And then you as a customer, all you asked for was a switch two, but we're trying to solve the problem behind the scenes. That's what this function is doing. It's working with the LLM to solve the problem behind the scenes. Let's see. I think we can do this. This is what I was saying on 98 and 91. 98 to 101. Yes, kind of, but no.
I think that's what you tried originally, right?
Yes, this is kind of what I want. So a lot. Yes, that's all I'm saying. This has to be a return because I need to pass back up the value that we get the result essentially. Okay, hold on. Let's see. What's the first thing we do? Okay, okay, let me do a return here. Yes, that's right. And then this one is right. The reason why it has to have the if. Yes, Gabriel de los Rios. What's up, bro? Good to see you. Okay, so the AI is requesting to execute the code. It's requesting. So we still have full control over what happens next. But what we're trying to process is this like non-deterministic amount of function calls that it will make. That's what we're trying to fix. We don't know how many it's going to want to make, right? But it's going to request like, hey, I want to call this function. Can I? And then I'm like, you know what? Okay, be honest with you. I think it's a lot like working with my child. My child will be like, hey, dad, can I have, a yogurt? And I'd be like, I'll get it. Because I don't trust you to go in the refrigerator and get a yogurt. I don't trust you, right? Because you might do something. I'll get the yogurt and then I'll give you the yogurt back. So that's kind of how the interaction is. Not that I don't trust the LLM, but it's more like I am still in control, right?
I trust the LLM more than I trust my son at this point.
For sure. But the idea is that like it's that relationship with you and the LLM at this point where LLM's like, hey, I want to do this. And you're like, I'll do it for you. It's under my discretion as developer whether or not I'll do it. And then I'll give you the result. So like my son's like, can I get a yogurt? I'm like, I'll get it. Here, you can have this yogurt. Or I can say, no, you cannot have that yogurt. You know why? Because you just had dinner. Can I have another cookie, Dad? No, you already had a whole box of Oreos. If my son had a whole box of Oreos, I'd be in a lot of trouble. But I will eat a whole box of Oreos. All right, let's just try this. Because right now I think I'm like talking in circles and trying to figure it out. Let's just try it. What's the worst that can happen? Nothing. Well, something bad could happen. I could run up my Vertex AI costs. I could do that. All right. What's our magic prompt? Add all the items less than $1 to the cart. Oh my God!
Let's go.
I didn't mean to be blasphemous like that, but oh my gosh, let's freaking go! Let's freaking go!
Well done. Well done.
Oh, let's go! All right. Okay. Oh man. All right.
The crowd goes wild.
Let's go, friend. Okay, first off, this was a group effort, so I appreciate all the suggestions, all the like feedback. Tobias, no, we talked about this for like 20 minutes as a team, like as a group, right? So it's not like I'm like, oh, I did it on my first chance. We all have been working together as a group on this, so this is so fun. All right, so let's talk about what we did, so everybody can like be on the same page and about all the like value that is kind of subtly included in what we just showed. There's a lot of value there, and I want to deeply explain it. Okay, so first and foremost, we have the chat window, right? The chat window lets us interact with our agent. Our agent is just tools, a goal, and an LLM. Okay, tools, a goal, and an LLM. Right? We put all those together, that gives us an agent. What we were after was to give our agent even more sophisticated abilities through the tools. Because remember, if we go back to our building a wall analogy, if you give a contractor a hammer, a saw, and some nails, they can create amazing stuff, right? You don't have to give them a whole bunch of extra stuff. They have a lot of knowledge to do things. We're trying to take advantage of the LLM the same way. How can we use the knowledge and tools, so the knowledge and power of the LLM to create something special with the tools that are available? Here's what we wanted to accomplish. We wanted to be able to correctly add things to the cart, right? And then we want to get rid of this like sub step where we had to go and, like talk to it, like prompt it to make it use different tools. We wanted to be able to act kind of autonomously. Here's how it acted autonomously. I asked it to add all the items that are less than $1 from the cart. What are the tools that it needed to do that? One, it needed the ability to know which items are less than $1. How did it do that? It used our get inventory tool. Then it needed to be able to add them to the cart. So it needed access to the get cart tool. We did not tell it to do both of those in succession. The LLM reasoned about it on its own. It was like, okay, I need to know which items meet my criteria. Then I want to add them to the cart. The thing that's really interesting is the less than $1 part. There is nothing in our code that tells it what's less than $1. That's what makes it special. Let's do a more sophisticated example. What can we make with the things that we have here? We have chicken, cheese, rice,
Maybe we
milk,
can
bread, eggs,
ma-
orange, and bananas.
maybe we can ask it to add all the items to the cart so we can make a smoothie. Is that too ambitious?
That's exactly where we're going, Devin. Ah,
Oh,
oh, that's too bad.
that's
No, no,
your
no. Let's ask
job.
it again. Let's ask it again. Using the items you have available. Oh, because that's really non-deterministic. Okay, that's probably too broad, right? Because it doesn't know what kind of smoothie I want. So let's see. Add all the items to the cart needed to make a standard banana smoothie. Okay, let's see if it can do that. Tell me which items I need to make. It doesn't really know.
Here's an idea. This might
Yeah,
work.
I can do that. I will do
You could
that.
say I have a budget of $10. Get me as much food as you can, or something like that.
Yeah, we can do that. But we can do that one next. I want to get this one to work too.
Yeah.
Let's see. I can help with that, but I first need you to tell me which items are needed to make a standard banana smoothie and the price of each. You don't know how to make a smoothie. Okay, let me ask you a different way. Let's see. Based on the items available in the store, can you add some items to the cart to make a smoothie? I mean, this sophisticated prompting is kind of what I want. But how come you don't know? Okay, so this is different. I
Can
think
we
we
write
can
a
prompt our way
tool?
about this. Okay, let's see. Let's add some more system instructions. If you are asked about making, or if you're asked about ingredients to make a recipe or anything, use your use your tools to help you answer. For example, you can first get the inventory, um, which contains items and prices for those items. All right, so this is like super good. This is a good example of two things. One, LLMs are not magic. Two, prompting is still a part of the story. All right, let's ask. Does it have access to search tool? So, oh, I see, Alex. That's interesting. Can we highlight Alex's? Yeah. Um, that's interesting. That is interesting. The search tool. So I'm assuming that it can search on its own through an array of items, but that's an assumption that I'm making. I don't know if that's correct or not. Very good question. Let's see. Do you have the items needed to make a banana? I hope that that clip of me screaming does not like circulate. Uh, that'd be really bad. Okay, so that it did know how to do it. Okay, so let's see. Add the items necessary. Can you please add the ingredients for making a banana shake to the cart? Ah, but it knew the other thing. Okay, let's update the model because I am using something different. So I think let's see if I can get Gemini 2.0. What's the name of it? You said Pro Experimental. Let's try Pro Experimental. Let's see if this will boot up. It may or may not. I don't know. Let me see if it's gonna flip out on me because I don't know if I put the right name in there. Oh no, that worked. Okay. Let's see. Okay, can you please correct me? Okay, good. I'll do that one instead. Let's see. Okay, keep that up for a second for me. You said Pro Preview. All right, we can try this one. 03. Oh, this is like fresh. 0325. Okay, stop out of here. Get out of here, Gemini. Yeah, I think you know some dates. All right, let's see this. All right. Can you please add the ingredients to make a banana shake to the cart? Okay, let's see. Uh-oh. It might be in a loop. Let's see if anything else is working on. Oh, that works. Oh, let's see. Yes. Oh, it did it. Oh, goodness. It did it. Wow. Okay, I found the ingredients. We have bananas and okay, so here's why this could be good or bad depending on your experience, right? Like, so think about when you're designing a more useful chatbot for your users. Think about it from this point of view. Do you want the LLM to prompt them with the intermediate results, or do you want to just do it? I kind of wanted it to just do it for me, but I'm actually happy that it asked me. Pretty cool. Apple milkshake. No way. All right. No, thank you. Ship it. That's right, Tobias. Ship it. Okay. So friends asked us to do a couple of more things. We still have like 30 minutes, and I would love for it to do some more UI related things. Like I wanted to filter the UI and in response to a request.
That would
So
be pretty cool.
so if we're gonna filter, I'm gonna think like a signal. Devin, help me with this. I'm thinking right now we have our product list as a signal, but what if it was a computed?
Sorry, I missed the last thing you said because a plane just flew overhead.
No, no, I'm thinking like, what if the other things are computed? So I was thinking like read only display list, display product display list, or I could just say filtered product list. That's a really long name. That's filtered list product list. So here's what I'm thinking. If we do equal to computed, right? Okay, thank you, Gemini. Yes, that's what exactly what I want. But like, finish it now. You've already started. Like, if you're gonna take it all away from you, finish. You didn't even finish your food. Unbelievable. All right, finish it. All right, this is not exactly right, but I need this to be. I kind of want this to be a signal too. So I want it to be filtered based on another signal, which is the right. Don't leave me hanging. Um, so this would be like the filtered list of products on. So we need a filter. So read only. Oh, that's actually more sophisticated. But I'm not mad at it. Okay. This is gonna be weird. Okay, just hear me out for a second. I'm gonna leave it as a string. All right. So I do not know how to do this, but I would love to see if we can figure this out. If you want to be super like special, if we could figure out how to get the model to return to us. Okay, I don't think we can leave it open. I was gonna say, could we leave it wide open, right, and just not put any guardrails on the filtering? But I think we could. Okay. All right. Here's what we're gonna do for the filtered product list. We're gonna get a name or the list of products that it wants it to display and filter based on that. That's what's interesting. Because I was going to say, could we get it to give us a predicate that we could pass into this thing? You see that it just dynamically passed that, but I'm like, then we got like eval like code from over the internet, which is kind of a code smell. I wouldn't do that. Like, all right, hold on. Let's pause for a second before we do our next step. Let's answer some questions. All right, okay. Would it be possible to have something like an agent development kit where we have with sequential sub LLMs with the stack that we're using right now? Sorry, I've been listening on and off. No, don't worry. I don't expect people to sit here for 2 hours and listen. Um, Hassan, this is cool. So we do have an agent SDK like that we just released. Google did. So I would check out our agent SDK to figure out how that works because there is this concept of like groups of agents working together to do things. So technically we could have some agents like doing some things. So it could be interesting. It could be interesting. What else? Let's see. This is going to open a new level of web interaction experience. Good thing to see Angular involved so early on this. Thank you. So I had a really interesting conversation when I was at DevOps Greece a couple of weeks ago. And then the thing that I said, which I think is the real next like the next level for these types of things is when we can figure out how to get data to models without a chat box. That's going to be very interesting because then I think that's where you talk about the new level of web interactions, right? Like, how do we, because people like conversational like tasks are one way of doing things, but not everybody wants to do that. Like, for example, perfect example, I, as a human, I prefer to go to checkout counters with other humans. I hate self checkout. I 100% hate it. Every time a store has self checkout, I roll my eyes and I just like, oh my god, I don't want to do this on my own. It's not that I don't think I can do it. I don't like it. I like to talk to people. I like to interact with people. Maybe the person at the counter will or at the checkout line will say, hey, we got two of these for $2 versus you're gonna pay one for $3.99. I have not seen a self checkout do that for me. You see what I'm saying? Like, I just like having that human element. So, how does that relate to what we're saying? Is that I think that there are some people who want a conversational version of this, and some people who want other interactions. You see, so I think we should have both. I think we should totally expand what the user interfaces look like to feed data to LLMs and agents to accomplish tasks for us. Okay. All right, so let me continue working because we got like 25 minutes, and I really do want to fix my scroll, and I want to do this filter. I want to do both.
Let's do it.
So this should not be a computed. This should be a linked signal. The reason I said link signal because I want the original data to be the product list. And if the filter changes, I want to go back to that product list. Maybe I don't want to overthink it. Let me just do it, and then we'll do something. So we don't have anything here. So for right now, I'm just gonna say, actually, I don't even want this here. I actually don't even want this here because the agent has to have access to it. So I want this in my product service, and I'm going to expose it to the product service. Okay. Product service. Because that's how I'm deciding what the agent can do, is that I have this service with all my things in it. So I have a product cart total, a signal there. I'm going to throw another one, which is filter product list. And then this becomes products, which is just an array. Right? And then, but this is not based on a signal, so we're going to have to change that. So that way it'll be updated, because right now it's not based on a signal. Which means we got to have, because we want this to run every time, the read-only filter criteria is a signal, which is an array of not that, but I want that, but I want it to be product array. That's what I want. So my filter criteria is going to be the product by which we filter. So then when we're in this function, let's see, what do we do here? Devin, while I'm doing this, if you want to answer some questions while I'm just kind of cooking on this, that totally works.
Cool. Yeah, you cook. San's got a question about last stream. Question about image safety threshold. So, short answer, yes, I did face the same. And if you look through the source code in our Angular examples repo, you'll actually see I added language to the prompt that basically said, make sure that the image that you're generating is not inappropriate or whatnot, doesn't include profanity. That seemed to help. But one of the things I wish I'd gotten to this during the stream, but one of the safeguards I had in the Imagine part of it, where I generate the images, was I just have a try catch where I try to generate the image. If it failed, I would just return an empty string. And then if there was an empty string, I would have an option to just call that flow again. And that, like, a lot of times, whatever the prompt was just was so inappropriate that it just wouldn't work. But a lot of times they just keep calling it and eventually it would work. So short answer, yes, I did face that. Long answer, however, sometimes it did generate some images that were, that I was surprised it was able to do. So it's one of those things I found especially with LLMs, it's a very iterative process. Keep tweaking your prompts and see what comes of that.
Stop doing that. Sorry, I'm trying to. Sometimes the AI kind of like gets in my way, and I'm just like, stop. Like, I don't want you to do this, because I want to do it, because I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Yes. That length. Okay, I plus plus. All right, very cool. So then I'm just gonna say, if the product name. So I just want to return. I don't want it to say includes. Product.name. I could do .2 lowercase. That's fine. 2 lowercase. I don't care about includes. I just want to say equals. They just really want me to like include it. And I'm like, man, why don't you like this? Why don't you like this? This should be right. Oh.
Yeah, I saw the exact same thing, which is why I tweaked my prompt to say, don't include anything with violence or profanity or anything like that.
This is length. All right, I'm working with some signals here. Okay, so I'm saying this. So if my this dot filter criteria. Okay, now why don't you like this? Because it could be. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're cooking. Why don't all roads return something? Yes, they do. Stop it. So if it's or okay, so this is right. So we got this.
So lots
Oh,
getting
yeah.
into
So
some
fine. Return
questions
false.
about caching
Okay.
results. So you previously mentioned caching the results. How would we go about doing that?
Sure, I would use whatever caching mechanism that you have. So, like for example, I could imagine something like a really primitive implementation being kind of like the singleton pattern for your data. Like you could check before you request it, check to see if you already have it, and just return that before you make your function call. Right? Like I can imagine you doing something like that. Or if you have a more sophisticated cache, like I would check the cache overall, right? Like whatever your caching strategy is, I would check the cache at that point. Because remember, so to answer your question directly, because I don't want to talk too high level about it, I want to be more direct. So if you think about it, when we do our function calls, you see this? You're writing control. So right here, let me zoom in just a little bit so it can be like really like there. Right there, I can do anything I want. Right. So here you could say, check the cache first, then do something, right? And then you see what I'm saying? You can do whatever you want here. Check the cache first, then return a value, or do something else. So you have a lot of control. You have all the control.
That's what I've used before, but I couldn't remember it. So thank you, Patrick.
Listen, Patrick, we're gonna fix that right next. I'm almost done with this right now. And I'm gonna fix that because I'm ready to fix that scrolling and I'm gonna commit it to the repository.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be in there broken.
So if you
Okay.
go to that Angular examples repository that we've been telling you all to visit and
Oh yeah.
star,
Here, can you
uh,
put the banner back up? Let me do that while you're talking. Go ahead.
yeah, sure. The GenKit starter kit project has that exact pattern where I use flex direction column reverse. So I know that does work.
Wait, does that put it at the bottom or the top though?
So it puts it at the bottom. So you column reverse, and then the trick with that is every time you add something to the chat, you have
Uh-huh.
to add it to the beginning of the chat.
Oh, so prepend versus append.
Exactly.
Yeah, we could do that. We can do everything. The scroll though, if we can get that smooth scroll working, it'll look super nice.
Yeah,
Okay, I
that
gotta keep coding.
wouldn't scroll though. It just takes you to the bottom every time.
Yeah, no, you're right. I want scroll. Okay, so somebody said that my code is wrong. So let's walk through it and fix it. So we say we filter the products, and we say if the filter criteria is empty, each product passes the test. Otherwise, we actually go through the filter criteria, each one, and then we want to say, I was late to the party. I just skipped through the scroll
Oh,
thing. Oh,
sorry.
yeah, no problem. No problem. I'm annoyed by it too. Don't you worry. Okay, so then we're saying for each of the filter criteria, we're gonna check each product against all the filter criteria. Is that not right? Did I miss something there? And if it's not in the filter criteria, we return false, or should we just return true at the end, no matter what? Hmm. Well, we could figure that out because if the filter is slightly broken, I don't mind that. We could fix it. But won't we? Don't we stop? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, we do. You're right. 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 That's correct. This return is wrong. This return is wrong. So we'll say, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. No, that's a bad name. Keep item. Keep item. Okay. Cool. So we'll say keep item equals this, right? I should break if it's true though. If we get it true, I should break. All right. So if keep item equals true, break. Okay. That should actually do it. So then we're going to keep going through. Also line 18, signal filter criteria. What did I do here? Line 18. Yes, good catch, because that would have driven me up the wall, Nikos. I would have been looking for like 20 minutes just trying to figure that one out. All right, I got to keep going. All right, let's make sure my filter even works. So then I could test it. I should have written a unit test. I did not, because that was the right thing to do. I did not do the right thing. Apologies. As Nirvana would say, all apologies. So I'm going to do something really cheap here. I just want to see if I do whatever. I'm doing it in here. Nobody get upset yet. Hold on, give me a second. I want to do this dot. Is products my service? Okay, this dot products. That filter criteria, and I want to do Apple. Oh, I can do it even better. I'll say this dot product list of 0.
This product list is signal. There we go.
Signals are great, but that one API thing is this thing. Wait, highlight Alex's comment.
I did before. You were looking down.
Look, listen. The fact that that is a thing here, like that's a code, a code thing, man. Isn't that something that Alex? It's ingrained in my brain to not do for each. It's like stuck in there. All right, let me just see if this works at all. Because that's what we care about right now. Let's just see the length of this, and then that'll save some time, because hopefully the LLM will have no problem calling this function, and we're gonna get to it right now. I'm working. I gotta move quickly. Okay, so let's see. So that should be 1, right? All right. Object. They're not filter criteria. There we go. Okay, good. So our filter works. We could definitely make sure that it works by adding a couple more, because we know it works with 1. Let's make sure it works with others. Okay, very good. Very, very good. I'm so excited, and I can't not hide it. Okay, cool. So that should be 2. Cool. We got it to work, right? So then if we're going to display it, we could display it. Like, we could literally take this and then go, right now we have, I hit it. That's why. So then if I did filtered product list, what have I done? Okay. Yeah, see. And then to prove that we got it all cooking the way we want it to be cooking, we can change our criteria to empty, because that's what we really care about. It's the empty criteria returns the whole list. Okay, we got it. We got that part. Now we have a tool defined, because the tool is just a regular function. Now we got to tell the LLM that it can also access this thing. So we can say, all right, that means we got my 10-minute warning. Okay, we're going to get there, and we're still going to fix this other thing. So name equals, so in our function declarations, we're going to say filter products. All right, we'll say description. We'll say this is update the visible inventory by filtering the available products. This function requires an array of products to filter by. Okay. So this one's a little bit different. So these functions, if you notice the get products, it doesn't have any arguments. Let's see, 1 second, returns a list of filtered products.
You've got a typo in the word visible.
What did I put?
Visible.
Yeah, it's like divisible by 1. No, visible.
Oh, you're smooth.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Come on. All right, see, now I got to do this ugly one. I really don't like this, but we got to do it. The reason I say it's ugly is because it's a lot. Okay, we can do this. So we got a description. You guys got to do our parameters. And we do a schema object. I'm going to get through this. We're going to get through this together, team. And you know what I know I already have to do? How do you think I learned that I have to do this? Through a lot of pain. I learned I had to do this. I still don't fully understand the solution, why this is important. You see how the parameters have an error if I don't add this code? It's a type error. And I spent a lot of time trying to figure this out. Okay. So we'll save us that drama. So then our parameters, we got to say, what does it take? Well, it takes an array, actually. So parameters, properties, it's kind of like this. Can we borrow this? We could take this, right? Because this is the same thing. This is literally the same thing. Oh, thank goodness. Because I really did not want to fight with the schema for 20 minutes, and we only have a few minutes left. All right. Boom. Done. Let me explain to you what we just did. I'm not going to just leave you all hanging. So you have to, Vertex AI in Firebase, when you do your function declaration tools, one of the APIs there, they take Zod schema. So if you ever use Zod before, this is like using a Zod schema. Okay. My parameters here are schema. And I say, well, the parameters are the objects. Well, I think this is right. Yeah, it's got to be an object. And then I say it's an array. And then what's in the array? What are the items of the array? What are their definitions? What are their objects? This is the key that it'll be. So it'll be like, instead of products to add, we'll do products to filter. Right. And then the model will tell us when, because this is like defining the output for the parameters, the structure. Because when you work with the LLMs, you usually do text-based and you like, oh, it's non-deterministic because it might return multiple formats. Here's how you get around it. You use a schema through Zod. Okay. I really want to see if I can get this to work. I'm not going to talk right now. I'll let Devin talk. I've been talking too much. Let me just see if I can get this to work.
I'm going to give you the old 5-minute warning.
All right.
Not to put any pressure on or anything like that.
No, you all good. I appreciate it because we got to get to it. What the heck happened? Did this add some code for me that I didn't want it to add? Yeah, I added it in the wrong place. I'm going to add it up here. If function call dot name. Get out of here. Come on, don't play with me. Yes, do this. Do that. Yes. Kinda, but not really. Kinda. This dot. Oh, I didn't add a proxy function. So here I have like proxy functions that call the service. Let me add my proxy function. So we'll say filter products. Yes. Okay, you see, so filter products to filter, we'll get the list, and then we update our service. This is what we want. Now, Gemini, you are helping me in so many ways. Okay, don't add anything else. Stop it. Okay, so let's finish this. So then instead of calling this function like this, we actually got to call the function. Okay, I'm going slow because I'm trying to remember exactly how this stuff works. And then the next thing I do is result equals await this dot chat dot send message. We're going to do that. Okay. We're on to something, friends. All right. Some of that, yeah, sure. Like, you sure do it. Do it. Okay, sure. I don't know what any of that is. All right. We got function results, number of products filtered. Sure. And then we got to do this again. I feel like because I'm repeating myself, I should update this in a way where it doesn't repeat itself every time, but I feel like I don't know what the right answer is just yet.
This is to answer your question, Igor. This is a remote LLM API. We're using, what did we update to? 2.5 experimental.
Yeah, we updated
2.5,
to
something like that.
2.5 Pro preview. Yeah. All right, let's just run it. And then what's the worst that can happen?
Let's find out.
Only show fruits.
Is it possible to do with the local LLM? I believe so.
Okay.
But I've never tried it.
Okay, hear about this. How about this? I know this is not perfect. I'm gonna cheat just a little bit so we can get to see if we can get it to work by giving it context for the inventory. What products do you have? So we can know. All right, come on. Okay, here are our products. Okay, good. I don't care that it's not perfect right now. Here's what I want to say. Okay, can you filter to only show me fruits? Okay, it's thinking.
With 1 minute to spare.
1 minute. Okay, now 1 minute to spare. How do I fix this? Okay, your friends are telling me. I want to celebrate this, but I really want this scroll to work. Okay,
Now
so
you're getting greedy. Yeah.
to change this.
Yeah, show Mark some love here. That was actually awesome to watch live.
Yeah, I have my moment. Plus, check the filter schema. You have added a price property. Okay, let's check it. Filter schema and AI service. Okay. So I'm not using the price. You're right. I'm not using the price. But I could also, but you know why I keep the price? How about this? Show me items less than 60 cents. That's why I'm not using the price. So I can do this. See, that's why I kept it. There you go. Yeah. All right. So now hold that code up that shows me how to fix the scroll. I got to do it. Okay. Scroll 2. And I got to pass in object instead of my thing. So I'm going to do this. And then we're going to. Gemini, give me a second. I know you know the answer. Gemini. I wanted to see if I could type in what our friends are saying. Okay, I'm putting my old stuff there. Okay, so I should do top, and then I should do container.native element scroll height. and I should do behavior smooth. So I
Good.
should do what I had there, right? That should be right. All right, let's see. Let me refresh. Hello, it's me. How are you doing? Okay, let's see. It's gonna scroll. So you see, it's still clipping that last part. I don't know. I don't know, but okay, friends. I feel like I have to go to a meeting or something. Let me check my calendar quick because I just want to wrap our just want to wrap our conversation for today, and then we'll let everybody get on with their business here. Um, what was the whole point of what we did today, right? Like, what was the whole idea? So, in general, there are two ways to think about like AI powered code, right? Like we have an agent that we made for our grocery shopping example, but did you notice how much work I was doing? Right? Like I was still very involved in the development process. Even though our agent had some really cool abilities, I think what's really interesting for you as developers is to build apps that allow you to take the agents and the powers of LLM and incorporate them into your applications. Right? Think about the things we learned today about how to interact with the model and how to get it to do things. You're so valuable as developer still. You have so much value. Your expertise is needed. Like everything that you've learned, like I used all of my skills. Someone said, "Oh, I haven't seen the for loop in so long." I'm like, "Yeah, I needed a for loop." You see what I'm saying? I didn't just like let the LLM do all my work, right? Because I'm still needed. You're still needed. And thank you all for hanging out. It has been so much fun. Devin, you are a fantastic co-host per usual. Devin, I think this solidifies that you and I need to do more of these like coding streams together, and we will do way more of these. Um, Jeremy and I will be back for our Q&A stream next week, and he'll probably show off some stuff. And you know, Jeremy comes on here; he's always like mind-blowingly knowledgeable about everything, which is excellent. But I think Devin, there's a lot of opportunity for you and I to do this. Okay,
Absolutely.
let me ask you a question before we sign off. I usually ask Jeremy this. I'll ask you this, Devin. What are you watching? What are you playing? What are you reading?
All right. What am I watching? I'm watching the most recent season of Black Mirror right now, and I'm loving it. Uh, very good. I'm reading reading Shogun right now, which I
Oh.
haven't watched. It's split into two parts. I just finished the first part. And then I looked up to see if I could now watch the first season and saw the ending to the whole thing. So that kind of was terrible. Now I don't feel like reading the rest. What am I playing? I'm playing Luigi's Mansion with my son, which has been a lot of fun.
Oh, that's the one on Switch, Luigi's Mansion
Yeah,
3.
Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yeah, we did very well. My wife played with our son, but yes, it's a great game to play together.
A lot of fun.
Awesome. Let's see. I am reading Murderbot series. I saw the preview, and Jeremy mentioned on the stream before that I should read it, and so reading them. I'm already on book 2. They're very short books though, because they're like novellas. But Murderbot is an excellent series. I recommend it. All Systems Red is the first book. Check that out. Watching Sinners. I just watched the movie Sinners. I can't stop thinking about it by Ryan Coogler. Um, just really outstanding film. And then what am I playing? Nothing, because my son won't give up the Switch. But between in my heart of hearts, here's what I would be playing: Astrobot. I was playing it, and then he took it over on the PlayStation, and now he's hogging the TV with the Switch. So I'm not playing anything, but I want to be playing. I want to finish Astrobot. All right, friends. This is amazing to hang out with you all. I feel like we had a great stream. Two great streams in a row from your Angular DevRel friends here at Google. We are so happy to have been here. I've been for Devin Chastanoff. I've been Mark Thompson. And listen, no matter what you are doing, no matter what you choose, no matter which model, which framework, no matter which anything, all we care about is that you get out there and you go build some great apps. We'll see you the next time. Bye, friends.